Clear efficiency, helping you get clear on the efficiency of your home. Okay, Giovanni and Sandra, I am up in the attic space right now, just taking a quick look around, seeing what it is that you guys have and seeing how it is that we might best be able to help you out here. So first and foremost, what I'm out here for today is main service panel upgrade. And so you guys have asked about the lines up into the attic space here. We can certainly help you out with upgrading your main service panel, and your lines in the attic space have been upgraded from the original knob and tube, which is good, but there's still some things that are in question. There was definitely a rodent up here, definitely signs that we got a little bit of nesting, we got some fecal matter, but in these areas where the rodent was tearing things up, he also ate up some of the lines, it looks like here. And you can see that some of these lines have been bitten into and are now no longer in working condition, okay? So this is not something that I can test. We can certainly help you out with the main service panel upgrade. However, we would have our electrician come up here and just test these lines to make sure that all the ones that are in use are solid and the ones that are not being used don't need to be connected. But we would need to be testing those lines just to ensure that. And if we needed to make any changes, then we can certainly do that for you. But that's pretty simple, okay? Like I mentioned to you, Sandra, SMUD is the only utility company that offers rebates for these types of projects. They do offer a rebate of $2,500 for a main service panel upgrade, so I can show you guys that. And they also offer a rebate of $3,000 for attic work. I know the number one thing that you guys called us out is the main service panel upgrade, upgrading from the 100 amp to the 200 amp. But I'll also take a moment just to explain to you guys how that $3,000 attic rebate works as well, just based upon the look of your attic here. It's just something that you guys might be able to take advantage of. If not, that's fine too, but at least you'll have the information, okay? So, like I mentioned, SMUD does give a rebate for attic work. It is $3,000, but it hits 3 different variables. It's not just one thing, okay? So the first is installation and getting up to code, and I'll show you guys where you're at in relation to code. The second is air sealing, so sealing up the gaps on the attic floor. I'll explain that in just a moment as well. And the third is the duct work, the quality of the duct and how efficient the ducts are, okay? But as long as you hit all 3 of those things, check, 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 and check, then SMUD will give you guys a $3,000 rebate to help you out with the project, okay? So first and foremost is the insulation, okay? Your current levels, let me see if I get a good visual here. I got a little ruler here. Your current level of insulation is coming in right around a 4, maybe 5 inch. Just to put that in perspective, that's about an R9, maybe R11 at the most point, but roughly about an R9, okay? Just to put that in perspective, all new homes in California are being built at R38, 13.25. This is bare minimum. This is code, okay? And then the very most insulation that you can ask for in any residential area is 20 inches at R60, okay? So the window starts here and it stops here. But in California, you need to be at least here in order to give your unit a fighting chance to keep the temperature under control, hot and cold for you, okay? So where you guys are at right now, insulation is done in increments. The smallest increment is 19, the next is 30, 38, and so on and so forth. So where you're at right now with the R9, R11, okay, pretty much an R9, we would come in here and blow the increment of R30 over the top of your existing R9, and that will allow you to get up to code, okay? And if that's all you do, then you'll be certainly a little bit more comfortable in the home, and your bills will be slightly lessened just because you're not wasting as much temperature, okay? But the rebate does not kick in if you just do insulation. You have to do all 3, okay? So there's 2 caveats to that when it comes to the rebate. If all you want to do is add over the top of this, that's perfectly fine, okay? But the rebate doesn't kick in. If you're actually trying to qualify for the rebate, there's specific caveats that we need to address. And when it comes to insulation, there's 2 caveats, okay? The first caveat is that you can't have an existing type of insulation more than 2 existing types of insulation when I get here. There can only be 2 to make up the rebate. What you have existing and what I do to make up the difference. But you only have 1, so you qualify for that. But the second portion of the rebate is that I cannot use existing insulation if it has rodent activity, fecal matter, urine stains, anything like that, right? Seeds, nuts, anything that's going to be eroding up here. And we have all of those. We've got some nuts, we've got some fecal matter for sure, and then our flat areas where they like to hang out the very absolute most, right over our air supply, our plenum box here, is where we have a great deal of urine stain and fecal matter all being built up, right? Unfortunately, that's coming down and leaking into this air supply here, and we can kind of see this. So, you know, as we, especially during those hotter days, as you turn the unit on, some of that is allowing to get into the air supply. Okay, so if we're trying to go for the rebate, SMUD will not allow you to keep this. They would reward you by pulling it out. So the only way for you to activate the rebate is for us to come up here, remove everything up here, disinfect this space due to the fecal matter and the urine. We got to get rid of it. Okay, clean it up, and then start over, okay? And that's blowing in new R38, so pretty simple. The second caveat, first is insulation. The second caveat is air seal. I'm not going to take you to a lot of areas. I want this to be quick for you here, but air seal is sealing up the gaps on the attic floor. If this is your home and you look up on the ceiling, anything that sticks through the ceiling, they want you to seal up with the foam, because that allows for your air to move up through, but it also allows for heat during the summertime to move back through, carrying along this dusty type of insulation, okay? And that's not ideal. So what SMUD will reward you is if you come to all these areas, right? These are the notorious areas where ductwork meets the attic floors. When you look up and you see a vent, this is what we're talking about. They didn't do anything wrong, but notice here where this unit meets the floor, there's a gap that's all the way around this, right? One single unit does not have a great deal of gap, but if I add up all the gap on the home, now I've got a sizable opening. So SMUD knows that you'll receive more comfort and your bills will be reduced by sealing up these gaps, because now your units, your HVAC units, will run less and start saving you a great deal more money, okay? And then the third thing that they look at is the ductwork, okay? And your ductwork is the original to the home. And now we're back over to this tube, okay? What they care about, what they'll grandfather in, is the efficiency of the tube. They care about the efficiency of the tube and how much your air is being wasted as you pay for it, right? Or how much outside air is being mixed into it as you're running your units, okay? So they'll grandfather in the rebate at R6 duct. That's the threshold, R6. Anything that's underneath that, they would want you to replace it for the newest version, which is R8, in order to qualify for the rebate, okay? I say all that to say this: your current ducts are R4.2. So if you guys ever upgraded your ducts, you'd go from R4.2 to R8. Another way of saying is that you'll double your efficiency. Another way of saying that is you'll lose and use half as much air as you've currently been using and losing. So your HVAC units won't need to run as much, and in turn your bills will be reduced because they're holding on to more air from point A to point B. But also during the summertime, the heat that's being generated in this space is not easily being mixed into the tube, causing you to have to run your AC more and more, okay? Now, as I see it, I see three options here for you, Sandra. I see option number one is that you do not go for the rebate, and that you just blow insulation over the top of what you have in the attic. You'll certainly be a little bit more comfortable, and this will certainly help a little bit when it comes to the bills, but the rebate will not kick in, okay? That'll be the smallest of the three options that I'd show you in the attic. Option number two would be a seal and blow. Again, I'm not qualifying for the rebate, but what I'd be doing is sealing up all the gaps on the attic floor, sealing up all your major penetrations on the attic floor, okay, and then blowing in the R30 over the top of what you have and call it a day. Again, your rebate would not kick in because you haven't changed the ducts. And then option number three would be the bigger project, but that will be the one that SMUD will give you assistance on. And that one will be an RSB, and otherwise known as remove, seal, blow. And so in that particular option, I'll be sucking out all this old cellulose, this dusty type of insulation, get rid of that, suck up all the fecal matter on the attic floor, and then disinfect the entire space. At which point I'm then going to pull out all these R4.2 ducts, get rid of all of them, okay, replace them with R8 duct, the newer version, and then I'm going to seal up all the gaps on the attic floor. And then lastly, what we'll do is we'll blow R38 code level of insulation into this empty attic space and get you up to code everywhere. Okay, that project is called the Attic, and SMUD will give you a $3,000 rebate just to do it, and that comes directly off of the top. You don't pay the full amount and then wait for the rebate. We take care of that for you. But that's pretty much it, Sandra. That's everything that I'm looking at. Just a few things to consider, my professional opinion. Sooner rather than later. Thank you.